Okay.
All right, I appreciate your time. Okay, so let's think about next steps.
Okay.
Next steps. What are some next steps that you might do in the classroom or additional resources that you might use in the classroom? Um, Being already here or pulling in from the outside here to, just enhance the education here.
Yeah. Well, the programs, both the IB and the AP, are more or less self-contained, but there's a lot of flexibility and things that you can bring in.
Hmm.
So there is art, and I have tons, I have hundreds of art pieces from different painters, muralists, and so on that I can just pop on the screen. Also, music is another part of the program. One of the biggest parts of both programs, the IB and the AP, is what is called integration of sources. So when you have a written an article or a written source, and then you have either a painting or a short clip or something, and you integrate the contents.
Hmm.
And those DAP does a wonderful job of integrating two sources first. And I'm doing those with my Spanish 3 students.
Hmm.
That textbook that we're using also has in each chapter. And then what the IB and the AP do more, they integrate multiple sources. They call fuentes, multiple sources. So you could have two, two, two like brief paragraphs that you read, similar content, and then you will have an audio, like from the radio,
Hmm.
and then you will have a piece of art, and then you will have a video. So you can integrate out with to five. But right now we're starting just with two very simple sources,
Okay.
and then you have them integrate more. But anyway, so those I always invite new content, so I can always bring new content. I have a lot of content that I cannot utilize. Uh, I can only like 10% of it. I have over an
Oh.
abundance of things that I can do in different years. So I have an excess
Hmm.
of materials, and I have regenerated them or recycled them,
Hmm.
or all over time. Art, music, and paintings, and poetry, and those things are never out of style.
Never.
So anyway, so that's one of the things, and I'm always looking for new things in the internet.
Oh yeah.
There's so much stuff.
Oh, there is.
I have used in the past 5 years or so. I have used more YouTube stuff. I like it. So I like it. They need to like it. But anyway, so yeah, but any other sources? I always ask, and when we have our monthly meetings,
Mhm.
someone always comes up with something, and I write it down and check it out.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if it works, fine. But anyway, I'm open if that's what you're suggesting.
Okay. So then, right. So what type of like coaching support would you be willing to, um, you know, accept, or do you think maybe you could benefit from?
Coaching support?
Hmm.
I don't know. People coming and knowing. Well, I would like people that come and know. It's like building a house. Okay, if I'm gonna have an inspector, I want the inspector to know how a roof is put together, so that when he or she comes and look, then see the roof that is moving well, or the kitchen if it's meeting all the specs to pass inspection.
Hmm.
I mean, we do that with houses and with construction. The same thing with this. But because we're dealing with humans and with kids with different levels of readiness,
Hmm.
particularly as we spoke earlier,
Hmm.
then anything to help the kids. Like I was just on the phone with, I just got a brand new student from Central America who hasn't been in school. And some say 6 years, he says 4 years, so we're going to try and find out. It's a
Hmm.
long time being out of the loop.
Hmm.
So now I'm assessing the kid. It's going to take me 3 days,
Hmm.
okay? Perhaps even four. So I already determined something. We're in the front of a bright kid who was simply out of the loop.
Hmm.
And let's see where he is as far as his knowledge, and that's where I'm at now. So this teacher just called me. He wants to find out what am I going to do with him. The teacher doesn't speak Spanish, so he comes and contacts me. Obviously, he wants to do a good job with him too, and so he will be relying on me to give him tips now.
Hmm.
Okay, so he's a teacher from a totally different source. So anyway, so that's what we do. each student, when we hear let's know student stories, it becomes an abstraction sometimes for people, just a way of talking. But what we're dealing with, to use an example, there's one kid, he's not an abstraction, he's now coming into focus. He's a concrete human being, and we know there's much. Now we're going to try to find out where he is so that we can better use the resources that we have in the school before we send them out to other places. Because anyway, so and he's eager, so that's a big plus. So anyway, trying to personalize instruction as much as possible.
Okay.
I mean, if I had my kid, I want the doctor to examine him well,
Right.
so that whatever medication he's going to provide to fortify him, it will be the right thing for him.
Right.
And that's a lot of work.
It can be. It can be. So then, as you know, say I'm coaching you, what could I do for you? How could I support you?
I don't know. What do you have in mind? Oh, in your expertise, how can you help me?
Well, starting again, coming from my background, audio, visuals, which I think you're doing very well
The
with.
environment is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely. It's on the environment. I think is good, and then just I feel like increasing student, not grading,
Mhm.
providing their opinions, yes, but also kind of, you know, keeping not. I'm like I don't want to say they're checking the other students, but they're able to have a way to make sure that they are focusing on what the presenter is giving, but also so they're giving them feedback. They're also asking good questions
Mhm.
so that the students, the presenters, can continue to give their own input and their
I
own
see.
um, ideas. So, again, and you did say they did get off the paper and give their own personal experiences as well. But I feel like the audience could help them with that by asking those really good questions, not the superficial ones, but the really good questions. So I think that's how I would start.
Collaboration. There were three people that we collaborate.
Mhm.
Myself, Mrs. Martinez, and Mr. Alvarez.
Okay.
And they are, as we speak, they're working together intensely
Mhm.
because they're going to be taking over the IB SL, the standard level.
Yeah.
And so they're working, making the program their own. So my hands are up. I'm only right now with the HL. And so they come up with a variety of things, and we share it in Google Drive. Here's what I share, and then I'm incorporating things that they're doing because I can apply it to this thing. So uh, I think that collaboration is fundamental in a program.
Right. Definitely.
Fundamental in a program. And if we were to have a better, and I think in every subject, better collaboration from the beginning levels of any subject, math, for instance, and science are critical. And in English, the reading and writing and so on. If there will be more collaboration between levels and expectations and so on, I think that we will do better. But I think we're lacking
Yeah.
in that area. But collaboration, not as an abstraction, but as a practice,
Yes.
I think is one way.
Okay.
And for administrators, buried in their offices, giving orders from afar, it's not going to work for us. They need to come to the classrooms and be present, and they need to know the program. They need to know the framework of what it is that they're evaluating. Okay, so that when you come, okay, we see you as a presence, not as an intrusion.
Mhm.
You need to be. You mean it to help me? Well, come more frequent. Okay, don't be like the Pope every blue moon. Okay, but anyway, that's
No worries.
anyway.
And then what about for me? What kind of feedback do you have for me personally as we've gone through this process and gotten to know each other and you've let me observe? What feedback can you give to me?
Like the feedback that I will give any future administrator or present administrators, I've always had a good relationship with them. Okay, I have asked them, so why do you want to become an administrator? Okay, and I have a variety of different answers. Of course, one of them has to do with the fundamentals. Take it out of the way, money. Money is something, but it's also about a lot of work, and you also are going to be working the whole year. So when you have a little bit of money, you're going to have a little bit of less time. Okay, my recommendation is that you're going to be my boss. You're going to be evaluating me. Okay, so you know what my program is. I want you to become familiar. Let me help you with it. So and then visit me. Visit me frequently, not only when you're going to evaluate me. Okay? come and visit my shop as frequently as you can. Okay, make it a little bit, become a present. Come, and then I can ask you. Then I'll have that freedom. You know what? Why don't you come to my third period? Every other period is fine. But my third period, come and take a look. I'm not. I need some adjustments here.
Yeah.
I'll feel free to ask, and then you come over. It's not diminishing or anything, or feeling threatened. But look, these kids in this period are paying my salary. I want to make sure that I deliver for them because they're paying me. If we don't have kids in this school, I'm out of a job. And you too, assistant principal. So anyway, but anyway, so yeah, collaboration, I would say, and then um, just be a presence. And if you are going to be supervising a subject that is not your strength, like math or what have you, then talk to the experts in the book, the department heads, so that when you go, then you will have a clean and clear overview of what is there. And then you just, I noticed that. How about that kid there? What's his story? Never confrontational, because that seems to be another thing, us and them.
Right.
Okay? So I don't feel that with any of the principals or assistant principals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're my boss, and that's it. My wife is my wife, and I take orders, and that's it. No, I'm just kidding. But so yeah. For you, once again, it's just um, show up in the classrooms frequently, the one that you're going to supervise. Be a presence, ask questions, be familiar with their program, okay? And word will reach you that this person needs a little kick in the rear end.
Mm.
You will see it. And how you tactfully, not antagonistically, can you approach them? Because ultimately, that person needs to satisfy the needs of those students. And if the person is ingrained in minimalism as far as effort, well, then something needs to be done. You have to have the backing of the district, the backing of the principal, if you're going to be an assistant principal. And I hear that we have to have, like the hard conversation. Well, I don't know what that means. Okay? Hard conversation, like we need to open this subject and see it clear using critical thinking skills. Let's do it. Okay? So that is my recommendation.
And I accept that. I thank you very much. So thank you again for participating in this. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down now. I think I am good. Ah, but yes, well, in regards to what you were saying before, I